What's up, guys? I'm Sam, back here to grace you with another episode of The Good, Bad, and Ugly. Today, we're looking at one of my favorite aftermarket parts companies, and that would be none other than Greddy. I've been very excited to do this one since I can officially say that we at Fitment Industries are carrying Greddy parts and will be adding more and more stuff to our parts catalog as we go. But you didn't come here for a sales pitch. You came here to hear about the good, bad, and ugly portions of Greddy. So let's get into that. You probably clicked on this video because you have already heard of Greddy and feel some kind of way about this aftermarket parts company coming out of Japan. Well, the fact that they are known is a good thing because they have a pretty darn good reputation. 1977 is when they started, and there's been a lot of time since 1977 for them to be good, bad, or ugly. But actually, what really happened is trust has been around since 1977, but due to some copyright issues, they operate under Greddy here in the United States. But this good reputation that they've been able to maintain since 1977 isn't because of some sort of accident. Greddy has parts for all sorts of applications, and they are known to hold up to the rigors of street and track use. I'll speak from personal experience too and say that the Greddy parts that I have in my car are awesome. None of them have missed a beat, from oil coolers to gauges to adapter plates. Some of the parts in my car and yours probably aren't even very super new, but the finishes have held up to the test of time, heat, and road grind. And the reason I'm calling out the finishes is that's usually one of the things on parts that's the first thing to fail or look bad on something that's of cheaper or lesser quality. Now, Greddy doesn't make every single part that they sell, but when they outsource parts, it's with a reputable manufacturer, and they oftentimes say who actually does it, and they're honest about it. They're upfront about that. For example, when I was doing my research, Greddy had a forged piston kit for a 2JZ GTE. That's the 2JZ I wish my IS300 had. It was advertised on their site, and right on the description, it said, by OS Geiken. OS Geiken knows a thing or two about manufacturing components that are in some of the most harsh conditions possible, like differentials, engine components, that sort of thing. So be like Greddy, folks. Go to who is good, not who is cheap to make your parts. So the quality and reputation of Greddy is definitely good. Speaking of good though, we absolutely have to put Greddy's crazy product offering and catalog in the good section here. Let's run through that catalog at a high level of what Greddy offers. They have exhausts and many variations within exhaust. They also have intakes, turbos, full turbo kits, and all sorts of cooling, from intercoolers to awesome oil coolers to radiator components. Greddy also has all sorts of engine components, from oil pans, gaskets, timing belts, pulleys, cam gears, catch cans, oil filters, and differential covers as well. The electronics section for Greddy is also pretty extensive and well known. You have gauges along with their famous line of Profect boost controllers and the super Gucci and fancy Sirius gauges that look absolutely sick. Aero is also no stranger to Greddy with some of their own parts, but they're also the distributor here in the States for Rocket Bunny / Panda. It's the same company, just depending on where you are in the world, they use a different name due to copyright stuff. That's kind of like a common theme of names here in this video. Greddy also has all sorts of small accessories for the interior, from seatbelt pads to the very nice quality steering wheels that have the Greddy name on them and the stitching that matches the Greddy colors. This is an extensive catalog that Greddy has, and it stretches across many different car platforms. They're not just focused on like one thing. Unsurprisingly though, there is a lot of focus on JDM brands here, with this being a company originating in Japan. I also want to throw Greddy's overall branding in the good section because I think it's something worth talking about. There is one piece of branding that I'm going to put in the bad section, but I think Greddy knows who they are in general and how to market themselves. You'll see that the cars they help build and put their names on are generally very clean, often white, and without any ridiculous graphics on them. It's usually the Greddy name with their three colors of orangey, yellow, however you want to say it, teal, and blue. Overall, those cars are super clean and well put together, and you think of Greddy when you see them. The branding is also carried over their products, and you'll know pretty fast if you're looking at a Greddy part or something else. And that holds true from parts made in like the 90s through today. It's very consistent branding that isn't outdated, but it's very classic and well thought out. Continuing the good section, I want to highlight the fact that Greddy is the USA distributor for Panda. You also might know them as Rocket Bunny, that I said before, but here in the States, due to aforementioned copyright laws and issues, whatever, we know them as Panda. The reason I want to say this is good is because Tandem started to really gain attention a few years back with some crazy wide body builds that were taking the internet by storm. The fact that Greddy was able to attach their name to this growing demand was genius. Not only could they sell kits, but the Pandem look goes great with a well-known and reputable JDM performance parts shop like Greddy. There have been more than a few show cars built that feature a Pandem wide body with Greddy parts on it. My personal favorite is from 2018 at SEMA, the RX-7 that they built. I really like the look of the car, and remember at that time it kind of blew my mind with the front end fog lights and how clean the car was with the white paint and the gold and polished wheels on it. It's a really good example of a Greddy car. It's very clean, small Greddy logo, but you know who it is, and it made waves on the internet. Not because it had loud graphics, it's just very well done. But it's not all good, my friends. I will say, nothing in the bad or ugly section that should make you stay away from buying Greddy products, but there are some things that we need to go through. First is going to be the product availability and lead times. This is pretty common for a lot of manufacturers supplying us Americans parts from outside of the United States, but it should be mentioned here. Greddy has a huge catalog, and I've seen them struggle a bit to keep certain items in stock. That's probably because their products are very good with a high demand, but if you want one of these products that does have a high demand, you might be waiting for a bit. The next thing I want to say in the bad section real quick is the confusion that people seem to have with Trust, Grex, and Greddy. This all really falls under Trust technically as the parent company, but they are essentially all the same company under one umbrella. The reason I'm throwing it in the bad section is that these companies don't do a great job explaining it themselves at all. You gotta just Google it and see what's going on if you're new to the scene to figure out what they all are and who they are. The last two things I have in the bad section are my opinion, but this isn't something super factual that is objectively bad, but I think they're worth talking about here either way. First is Greddy's involvement in motorsports. They're absolutely involved, have been part of an example of Ken Gucci's racing efforts most notably. Also, shout out to Ken, I was able to meet him, and he's the nicest, most down-to-earth guy ever. He also likes and drinks Spotted Cow beer from Wisconsin, so that's a winner in my book. Back to Greddy though. I said they're involved in motorsports, but I think the visibility of their involvement is a little lacking compared to some of their competition, such as HKS. I just don't think Greddy is fully getting the credit that they deserve. I do find it cool when I learn of a car being sponsored by Greddy with a bunch of cool parts on it, but the sponsorship is often kind of subdued and under the radar. All I'm saying is that Greddy should be shouting from the mountaintops of what they're doing and who they're sponsoring versus being a little quiet about it. It is always cool, like I said, to hear about it, but really you don't see many cars with a huge Greddy logo on it. We found out after the fact that Greddy did some of the build or sponsor a lot of the parts for the cars. So Greddy, say what you're doing. The second thing I want to mention, which is my opinion in the bad section, is Greddy's Boost Brigade marketing. It's weird and feels very American and forced. I think I knew what they were trying to do by creating what felt like a group that people could be a part of with the Boost Brigade merch and bringing visibility to their turbo lineup, but it just felt kind of weird. I actually used to have a Boost Brigade jacket, and I honestly got quite a few questions on what the hell it was. Are you part of the Boost Club or whatever it is? Because there was a tiny little Greddy logo on it. It wasn't overtly Greddy, which kind of was what I just talked about before. It seems like it's kind of dying out, but it's still there. You can still buy the merch on the site. From a marketing standpoint, I believe it's a bit confusing and distracting from the heritage and reputation of Greddy, which I do see them start to capitalize on more now with some of their merch and products they're bringing out. Now for the ugly section, and I honestly only have one thing here. Greddy's website is awful. It looks vintage, but websites shouldn't be vintage. I usually try to find as much information on brands for these videos on their own websites, and then branch out from there. This shit was kind of just a stinker. It was bad. That site is not good. I did feel like I was back in 2010 surfing the web looking at performance parts, but it's 2022, so let's get that puppy updated, guys. The black background with orange text just isn't cutting it, and the pictures are 5 pixels. It is a trip back in time. You would go to the Wayback Machine and look at websites. I think if you went to the Wayback Machine, I should have done this and looked at Greddy's stuff. It would have been the same. It's not good. Get it updated, but it's really ugly. That's honestly it for the ugly section. I hope you guys have seen in the video that Greddy is a really good company. I enjoy when I get to talk a lot of good about companies, and there isn't much in the bad or ugly section, especially if it's just kind of my opinion. That's what I prefer versus overtly bad stuff. I do appreciate you guys watching, and make sure to leave a comment though down below on anything that you think I left out in the good, bad, or ugly section. Thanks again for watching, guys. I'm Sam. Peace.